Why hello, game anyone? It's been a while. I'm Zachary Chelgum, and this is still Monster Hunter. Using only the Bowgun to defeat all the monsters. Well, at least until you get to online and then you have other people helping you along. And making it somewhat easier. I mean, basically all the other people on online for gunners are just like monster bait, so the gunners don't get targeted. That's all they are. They're not really doing any damage. I assure you. That's totally what it is. Anyway, we're not in online yet, but I've said it before, and even though it's been about a whole year since I started college and had to put this on hiatus, we are back. We are going to complete this. We're going to go all the way up through high rank. And this is what I have for today. We're going to use a heavy bowgun today. And unfortunately, I fought the Rathlos about 12 or 13 times, which I know is not the most somebody could do, but I was really getting fed up fighting Rathlos. But I could not get a plate, which is ironic, because I fought Legiacrest a couple more times to get some things. And I have about 4 loggy plates just sitting around, you know, can't use them until I get to high rank stuff. So I have 4 loggy plates and didn't even get 1 Rathlos plate. But I got enough Rathlos tails using a lance to get off the tails to make the barrel there, which normally you would probably get that if you were just using the gunner. Only, you'd probably go online, fight some Rathlos with your friends who are not using a bowgun, or you're all using bowguns, so then you all just put slicing shots into that thing, and boom! Out pops out its tail, or I guess off pops out its tail. Off with its tail! Have the Poison Stinger frame, because it's the strongest one at the moment, and fairly heavy. And because I wanted to use the Rathlos stock there, which has, I think it weighs about 10 pounds. So you've got the 35 pounds from the Poison Stinger, plus the 10 pounds, that means you have 45 pounds, which means you need something incredibly heavy for the barrel to get it up into heavy. Which we do. We have the Barozooka. Which, if you know the set that I'm using, it's the baggy set with a skull mask, because I don't want to make the other mask, or the baggy cap for whatever reason. No real reason other than I like this. We're going to be using pellet shots on the one and only Baroth. And I said that wrong. The one and only Barioth. I don't know what the designer's thing was about this, but they named one monster, as we've seen before, the Baroth, and the other one a Barioth. Now, my judgment would be not to name 2 monsters fairly similar names, but that's just me. But we have the Barioth, which is the only ice monster in this game. Well, more or less. There's a boss later that uses ice, but it's not really considered ice because everything that it does otherwise is like dragon, basically. Dragon or fire, thunder. It's all elemental. People who've played this game would know what I mean, or which one I'm talking about. It's all elemental, but all of its weapons that it gives are all dragon type. So most of it's just considered dragon. So Barioth is the only ice type monster here, which means everybody wants an ice type monster because those are pretty strong. And normally when you would start this for the first time, which I have to say this is not the first time for me facing it, you would get this video when you come into this part of the map. And that would be the Barioth. Oh, you're letting him get away. What are you doing? Isn't he a mean fellow? Anyway, we're not gonna get quite that immediate fight, which I'm usually with the Barioth, I'm pretty glad with. But like I said, I'm using pellet shots because I really like pellet shots, especially offline. Online, you wouldn't use pellet shots all that often because everybody would get annoyed at you. Because there are 3 weapons that people tend to get annoyed with you using if you don't know how to use it well and are strategic with it. A bowgun with pellet shots. And we can hear the Barioth from the wing flaps. Should be somewhere around here. I think he's up there on the tower somewhere. Towers, where are you? I can't see him. Well, he will come down when he flies into this area in about the same spot every single time. Which, if I remembered which spot it was, I would have put it down in the trap there. It made this a whole lot easier, but it's been a long time since I've fought the Barioth. There are 3 weapons that you don't really want to use online. The bowgun with pellet shots, longsword. I mean, you can use them, but you want to be strategic with it. Longsword and switch axe. Why is that? Because they tend to knock people around. Because they have really wide range, which means they affect a lot of people. But offline, I really love pellet shots because they're very, very strong for the amount of modifiers that they have, and that they are also very, I don't know, for things that have very magnetic weak points, like the Barioth. If you could watch when I shoot the pellet shot, almost every single one hits him in the face. Which is 1, his weakest spot, and 2, well, it's his weakest spot. And you want to break his fangs, because those are very nice fangs. The 2 kind of things you want to get from Barioth are his amber fangs and his spikes, or his claws, which you get by breaking his claws, which don't actually break the claws, but it breaks the large spike on his wings. And as you saw there, I broke his fangs already. As you can also see here, Barioth is a complete and total spaz. I mean, offline, I hate fighting Barioth, let alone with the bowgun, which is already hard enough offline. I mean, there are several people that might say that bowgun is not hard. At this low, I mean, you can make bowgunning really, really easy if you use a shield. And one of the easiest strategies to do a lot of damage to a monster really quickly is to use cluster shots. Lots of cluster shots. The problem is that you don't have any bowguns at the moment that you get large amounts of cluster shots. And they also take lots and lots of time to reload, and they have lots of recoil. Of course, they do a lot of damage. Which if I had... I'm trying to do this without cheapness until... Well, online, who knows how cheap it'll be. But there's several strategies like doing sleep bombing on monsters, which is usually what you do with a gunner in the party, which I'll show off a couple times. Because you put it to sleep, and then you put out 8 barrel bomb pluses, and then the gunner makes sure it shoots a normal shot up close to it, but not hitting the monster, so all 8 explode at the same time, or roughly the same time, and basically the monster takes a crap ton of damage just right there. I'm also bringing Might Siege, which is something that I didn't do very often last time, but I'm going to try more often. Right now I'm trying to get him into a position where I could to flash bomb him, which is not the best strategy, I would have to say, because you'll see it later, I do get one off, but the sleep bombing just makes him go into basically rage mode after he's stunned for a bit. So you can do it if you know you can get off a lot of damage while he's just sitting around. But as you probably can guess, he doesn't sit around very often, even when he's stunned. Your best bet in getting him is getting him either in a pitfall trap, hitting him all out of the air like that, or getting him in a stun trap, in that order. Flinches don't really affect him all that much, and although if you could KO him, KOing him would be basically the best. My favorite weapon to fight him with, favorite weapon of all time, basically. The bowgun's growing on me, but favorite weapon is probably the hammer. I just like fighting with the hammer. Really good. Like fighting Barrioth with the hammer. That's the only weapon I like fighting him with. Because you just knock him out, he's got a predictable movement pattern at times. I mean, I said he's a complete and total spaz, but I mean, he has a pretty predictable movement pattern. And this is where he's going to fly away. So, nice restock, and we'll catch up with him. I mean, he'll turn. Okay, so Rathalos and Raytheon, they'll touch down after they're flying, turn twice, then continue on with what they're going to do. Barrioth is either going to turn once, or no, will turn once, or do kind of like a jump turn type of thing, and then either jump around you or charge towards you. Occasionally he'll jump up in the air, but the other two are more likely. Alright. And I completely waste this shock trap because I wasn't reloaded for whatever reason. It's been a long time since this game, so I only got off one clip instead of the two like I was planning. Bringing a shield with this monster is actually really good. And yes, I did die once fighting him, but I restarted the mission. That's why I have Feline Defender rather than whatever I had in the first clip. Pellet Shot is also fairly good online because it'll help you clear out the little minions that are there, especially the Malinxes. And of course the Barrowzuka has a shield, which is great. That is one of his deadliest techniques, and besides his little Ice Blast, which I have Ice Resist plus 10 as you saw there at the beginning, so I'm not really scared of that. But if he'll jump back towards a wall, he'll latch onto the wall, kick off towards the nearest hunter. That applies in multiplayer as well, which is his most damaging attack, I would have to say. And in the field that we were before, also don't dodge too early. Preemptive dodging will get you hurt. As you can see, well, it would be better if you were a Blade Master because you'd have higher armor, but he really doesn't hurt that much. The one thing that he has with him is that he moves really fast all the time and will hit you multiple times. So that's why everyone doesn't like him. It's not because, like, say, a monster later which can do a move that can one-shot you if you're standing directly underneath it. Legiacrest, which has fairly damaging attacks in its rage mode. Rathalos, which has very damaging attacks. And annoying attacks, like that little dive. But Barrioth doesn't have extremely damaging attacks. He just has a lot of attacks all the time. And actually, the safest place to be with Barrioth, if you're good at dodging, of course, is right next to him. All of his moves take him leaping up into the air. So, if you're next to him, you can dodge underneath him like I do several times, that's not a very good example. Thank you, Heavy Bowgun, and screwing it up. But yeah, if you're doing it with the gun, with the bowgun, I would take pellet shots. Pellet shots, baggy armor. Pellet shots, baggy armor with a shield. One way to tell if he's in rage mode or not, or the only way to tell if he's in rage mode or not, is that his eyes, which are normally a blue color, are red. And as you saw there, nice place to dodge there, and he's gonna fly away. I believe to the dark zone or to a dark cave, which I didn't bring the lantern with me. I brought Lamp Cha-Cha, but it's not gonna help that much. So the time we spend in the cave, I turned up the gamma, which does make it actually look pretty bad, quality-wise. But it's easier to see. I'm also speeding it up because it's a pretty boring fight in there. Not too much of enjoyment. Yeah, so the gamma's up, but it doesn't look all that great. It'll be better when Cha-Cha's back. So, as you can see, his eyes glow blue. That's when he's in normal mode. Whenever he yells and they go red, that's when he's in, yes! Got the flash bomb off. You'll see it off here soon. He's gonna yell and his eyes turn red. Now he's in rage mode. And as you can see, when he's stunned, he doesn't really stand still. Let's see, any other tips? Elemental weaknesses. He's weak to fire and electric, which you should have available to you since you just beat the Rathlos, and you should have had the Coral Pecco before, and you should have the Legiocrest, so you should have all of his weaknesses available. I just didn't decide to use them. I don't think did I use them in the next one either? I don't think I did. Not know why. No, I used fire, I think. Yeah, should have used fire. But then realized that I really don't like fighting him with fire by myself, so I switched back to pellet shot. But that's for another time and probably tomorrow. Actually, not probably. I know it's tomorrow. His tail. If you want to build his armor, which his armor is not terrible, you get evasion +2, like the Coral Pecco armor. And he's limping, so you know that he's almost dead, which I think I capture him if I remember right. Have evasion +2. You have cold resist high, I think is what it is, and you have heat resist low. Or heat, whatever the negative effect, or you take heat effects, but worse. You have that, and then you have, I don't know. Let me go look it up, because I don't remember, because I don't ever use Barioth armor, because there's not that, like, awesome set of skills that I couldn't get somewhere else. And I believe I just capture him here pretty soon. Way to capture him well is you have to stand kind of at an angle to your trap, because as you saw there, he jumps at an angle. So just a little bit closer, Barioth. There we go. And we captured him. Let's see. Armors. Anyway, as I was talking about, if you want to get his tail off, you're probably going to want to go online, and you can't use a bowgun to do it, because slicing is definitely not going to be enough. His health on his tail is incredible, so you're going to want 3 or 4 people, all with slashing weapons, constantly trying to aim for the tail. You probably have a hammer in the front trying to knock him out so they have an easier time. Anyway, back to the Barioth armor. Barioth for Blade Masters, you get Evasion +2, Marathon Runner, Cold Cancel low, Heat Surge low. For gunners, you get basically the same thing, I believe. Yeah, evasion, marathon, cold cancel. Not exactly what I want to look for in a bowgun set, but if you want to use the Barioth armor and want to fight him several 50, 100 times to get everything, because his claws are a fairly rare drop, like you saw I didn't get any there, then be my guest. I would rather move on and get a better set of armor, like the next set of the Diablos, which is up next after the next video, which is the medium bowgun versus Barioth. And we also get some more text about, I'm just gonna let you read it. Pause it if you need to. That there's a new creature in near here, which they think is causing all the or they pretty much know it's causing all the trouble. It's called the Deus, which we'll get to at some point. We have another Barioth video, 2 Diablos videos, 2 other monster videos, 2 other monster videos, another rehash of Rathlos, and then I'm only going to fight the final monster once. And I know what set I'm using. But anyway, so that's what we have planned next. So about 8 or 9 videos in single player left. But I will leave you guys with reading the Chief's text. And I will see you next time for the Barioth video with a medium bowgun. Anyway, I'm Zachary Chelcom. Thank you all for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe if you like what you see. And I'll catch you later.
Hora.